Hello, this is Solomon. We are going to be looking at two matches on Center of Gravity. My team was random. Oh, I think Silver went Germany, but me and Martin were random. And we're against God's Own Demon, Horror, and President. President is Kubak, best player in the game. God's Own Demon is competent. Horror, I'm not familiar with it, but based off these two games, he is also competent. We're stuck at Silver, who is some random, has no idea what he's doing. Martin is better than most randoms, but I'd rank him beneath these players. Yeah, UK, so there's two ways you can play it. You could do double air, but I was just like, March is not going to be good enough to pull that off of me. At least not without voice communication, so I just decided to go ground. Go infantry. Quebec doing the French AT base, artillery base opening. This is how you open France. I tend to do a slightly delayed opening like this, where I get secondary base depots and I start doing spamming out the AT and artillery and AA and all that. I usually throw tanks in too. That's just because I'm trying to be self-sufficient since I'm not relying on my random allies. But if you're communicating, yeah, this is the best start. Got heavy infantry going out. Made a bunch of AA, which is unnecessary in my opinion. You should be going armor and recon already. Here comes artillery. Trying to make a push happen, but horror strafing on my shit, so yeah. Now, he makes Panzer 3s. Like, France is on the field with an AT base, so don't make anything that isn't Tigers or King Tigers. Like, making Panzer 3s is like this so completely pointless and utterly stupid. Trying to see if I can push into some of these light units, but too little infantry. Cuba wagons, which is stupid. You only make armor recon here because these are just gonna get straight towards the Spitfires. Trying to make a push here on the left, but not working out. Doubling down on the infantry. Ideally, I would be doing like admins or even double air or at least fireflies, artillery or something. Just not. I'm just making so many infantry since Silver isn't actually doing anything, and I'm trying to keep the tanks away from our forward area. Martin loses a ton of Spitfires. We lose the depot, unfortunately. Actually, we don't lose it there. Oh, yeah, now we lose it. And he makes Panthers. He makes Panthers. You make Tigers or King Tigers. Like, holy shit. They all see they're dying. Why'd you make Panthers instead of Tigers and King Tigers? No reason to in this situation. Absolutely no reason to. I get out Sextons to straight kill light units, or at least maybe even kill a recon. Even armored recon. I also make it to deal with the French light units, like Laffleys, the AT, the artillery, the AA, if it comes out of the forest. Typhoon's coming out from Martin. Big air battle going. Three kills. We got 4 Spitfire kills out on that, which isn't a lot. Go back to Horde has had so much more planes, so even despite our A. Blockhouse, which is weird. It's emergency defense, but we shouldn't be at this point at all. Yeah, here comes the Laffy spam and light artillery spam, so the Sextons can deal with this, thank god. He suicides Panthers. Silver does. Now at this point I'm making admins, and it's like, well, neither of my allies are making admins, so one of us needs to make admins. Like, in both these games, Martin keeps on doing these really, really not awesome strafe trades where he loses like a ton of planes. Like, it's just being very not cost effective, so it's like, why are you doing this? Why are you feeling the need to do so much strafing? Fortunately, I got my sextons working on the Laffleys and artillery. More infantry coming out. And yeah, I was telling Silver to make King Tigers or Tigers, and he finally started doing it. Like, thank God. You can see I'm making the lion's share of our team's admins. The enemy team is also, all the enemy team is making admins. It's like, well, GG, they have more income than us. Or 300 points behind. That's 3 admins worth of units, material they have the advantage on. Another air engagement. I want to say we lost that one. Or maybe we didn't, I don't know. Actually, nah, I think we did. Meanwhile, Silver has a King Tiger and the Panther that he's doing nothing with. Kinda like, what the fuck? And I also told him to kite the Panthers, and he had no idea what that meant, so I just kind of mentally gave up at that point. Well, I did it while I was like, you reverse out of their range. I said, dude, King Tigers have 500-meter range, Panthers have 450 range. And look at them do the opposite of that. All you need to do is kite. Yeah, Panthers are faster, but if he gets like 2 free volleys off, like that's enough. Especially with my infantry screen. But instead of these suicides is King Tigers, so. King Panther. Also earlier, Silver was telling me to make make recon as UK, which is obviously not intelligent. UK does not get cost-effective recon in the least bit. Its recon is utter garbage. Yeah, I'm doing most of the admins. Yeah, I'm mentally, well, I was just like, oh, we lost this. Like, I figured it was gonna be a loss, like, what, 5 minutes in at least. I figured it was gonna be a loss whenever Silver made Panthers. My bad on not positioning these cards right. I just assumed he had recon or something. Or, well, again, as I said, I just given up, so I was like, yo, we're gonna lose anyway. Although it would have been nice if I did get the ambush off, but it would be ultimately only delaying the game. More infantry spam. Ideally, I would have fireflies at this point, but I've been just spending all my money on admins. Well, I should have gotten fireflies. I like the infantry. I'm losing way too many infantry. All he has to do is reverse the King Tigers, and he's not doing that. Just stay out of Panther range. Oh my god. Yeah, and clearly the enemy team has a lot more admins than we do. Oh, that's interesting. Very interesting. I didn't actually notice this during the game. Wait, did this actually work? Wow. Oh, I actually did not see this happen during the game. Interesting. Huh. Very interesting. Gods on Demon is making Tigers, probably to make this push a little bit easier since there is a lot of King Tigers out now. So Panthers are becoming increasingly less effective. Just speed this up. The game should be over soon. Yeah, Palmer surrenders, Silver surrenders, now it's UK, so there's literally 0 point trying to play this out, plus the enemy team is confident, so. Now, here's the funny part. Silver was like, did you see the stats? He was like, you lost thousands. You lost over 2,000, you only killed 195, so you didn't do anything that game. Well, you goddamn dumbass. It's because I surrendered. So I lost almost 2,200 from surrendering. Okay? And yeah, I only got about 200 kills, and I lost 700 infantry, some artillery. Well, actually, wait, yeah, all these points too are all the tanks are clearly surrender losses. I lost 3 sections, which is 75 supply. Then I probably had what, at least 100's worth of infantry on the field. So yeah, I still went 1-3, but like it's because I was spending all my money on admins. Like if you look at the income, I had the most income out of everybody. I was literally carrying my team's income. And I had to keep on making infantry since Silver was constantly trying to get himself killed, so I had to keep on making infantry to throw their lives away for more time. Anyway. Look on the second game. And there's some arguing going on. It's like Gods on Demon was like, I can carry Silver. And all that shit. So anyway, Silver ends up being on Quebec's and Horror's team. And we get Ginger ZLS. I was like, oh, well, that's another loss for us, since I'd probably take Silver over Ginger. Well, I would. Not probably. Well, ultimately, it comes down to who listens more. If I decide to tell them something, the most important factor. So I did pick US this time since I felt like trying to win instead of going random and probably losing due to getting any other nation that isn't US since I'm against Quebec and Hor's at least confident, so. Quebec is the air player, which is probably better since air has less ability to influence the match. I can still air like all three roles, tanks, support, and air are all very important. Tanks and tanks, the tank player is obviously the most important in affecting the outcome of the match. But the enemy air player can be neutralized fairly effectively if the other team knows what they're doing. Later, the only thing the air player do is bomber rushes. Or doing something similar with to what Quebec did with its French opening. Silver is Germany. Then I see this, I'm like, AT base. Okay, GG, game over. Ginger has no idea what he's doing because you obviously don't build AT base in this situation because I'm making super versions. I make my own barracks because I do not rely. Well, Palmer can't make recon since he's UK, and I'm not going to rely on Ginger at all. And I pretty much never rely on randoms to do recon for me. If I'm playing US, I'll just make my own Willies and Greyhounds. It makes a bunch of worthless B11s, despite the fact I made a barracks for Willies. You should be putting infantry and securing these towns and probing forward mid. Since it's especially with France on the field. Since France on this map isn't going to be spamming armor unless they want to lose. So, like if they're spamming armor, there's a role that isn't being filled. Oh, if you're trying to fill the tank role, there's being serious since RL44s are dead or garbage, so they just lose. So then he surrenders. Thank God. I guess he got mad at. He said something about the air. I don't know. I can't really remember what he said, but he quit. Thank God. So I was like, okay, now I can actually win the match. I think he quit because of the strafing, and like I don't understand players who are frankly total bitches about stuff like that. Just go with it. Wow, he lost 2 trucks. Fucking deal with it. And it hurts, but the game's not over yet. Although in this particular circumstance, I am very thankful he quit. And I'm more thankful that I got shit instead of Palmer, since Palmer's UK, so there's not a whole lot I could do there. Oh, we do get less ruses. It's a lot easier for us to think admins too. It's because you have to save up so much money to build an admin, and we get our money a lot quicker. So this, like, psychologically, it's kind of hard to wait so long to get admins, since you want to be building shit to deal with current problems. Start making A. Also get super Persians. Silver is making Cuba wagons. Since KFC is better here in my opinion, since Cuba wagons just get strafed. And they're 10 supply, so they're really too expensive to lose to strafing. Now pushing out to super Persian since Silver is taking a really long time to get armor out on the field. Storm Grenadiers are coming out. Just kind of odd. I mean, I guess they're a screen, but like you should just be making tanks. Now here's the big problem. Horror actually isn't doing anything to help out this situation right now. He's not doing a light artillery AT rush. He's just kind of existing. That's problematic. So I kill a depot, then I end up running away for some reason against one tiger, which is really not good. Like there's no reason for me to leave, but then I realized, oh wait, it's just one tiger. I can kill it easily. One bis. That's a very weird decision. Both my shots land, so I instantly panic the tiger. And it dies. Another tiger comes out, and I told them to target the tiger, but instead one takes a shot at the building, the other takes a shot at the light units instead of focusing the tiger right away, which is kind of annoying. Hurricane comes out and panics one super Persian, but I'm just trying to kill the tiger. Fanaticism is played by Martin, which he should have played it on this sector. This unit didn't need Fanaticism yet, it wasn't panicked. Silver makes a Panzer 3 for some reason. Grant is finally pulling out AT, unfortunately. I'm like, well, this Persian is dead. Since I mean, it was gonna retreat into the middle and not have Fanaticism, so it was not gonna live. Either gonna die to the Storm Grenadiers or the AT. That's kind of freaking out. Lots of strafing against the Willies. Martin takes these depots, fortunately. Yeah, there's in a really problematic situation since I'm just continuously building up my Super Persian army. It's becoming increasingly difficult to deal with. I go ahead and kill this tiger pretty much instantly. I kill this depot. Surprise attacks, unfortunately. I'm like, god damn it. And it's just so annoying to deal with AT and force of recon, since recon range for force is like 550 meters. So there's this constant backup game. Like, stop backing up, keep vision on them. Then all these guys get strafed. Which ideally the strafes will be getting punished, but like, that one got punished. Actually, no, it didn't. They blitzed away, so ideally the Spitfires will be getting well punished for that. But I am not spamming AA. Unfortunately, if I was spamming more AA, I could kill some of the Spitfires, but I'm focusing on Persians. More AT, which is not a good. It's not good spending because it's purely defense. Like, it's not gonna win them the game. It's only gonna stop them from losing. And they are kind of losing. Well, they are losing right now. Or equal in points, but they started building admins, and we don't have admins yet, but we will soon. Problem is, our army, like the material we have and this position on the field is much superior. Like, we have the initiative and control of the middle. Like, I'm choosing where to attack. We're defending. The area comes out, which is not a good choice of ruse. Hurricane. Yeah, Terror doesn't do anything in this situation. It's gonna be still 2 shots to panic. Or surprise attacks, so my release gets strafed. Build my first admin. Fortunately, yeah. At this point, I should have made Greyhounds. I was kind of not making Greyhounds since I was just hoping. Well, I didn't want these Greyhounds to the AT shooting them since that's a really expensive loss. And also, I just figured, well, if he's strafing Willies, ideally we can just kill at least a couple of his strafing planes and get the advantage, and get a better trade out of it. But I should have just made some Greyhounds earlier. I make so many relays and just keep on dying. I'm only killing a minimal amount of enemy Spitfires. Go ahead and finish off the barracks. Another surprise attack, so it's like, god damn it. Shit's annoying. Oh, you ever seen the problem of AT without any other units? Like, they'll ambush at max range and panic the unit, then the unit will run away, so... Yeah, it's like, you can't attack with this. It's one of the inherent flaws of the AT guns. I mean, pushing, trying to clear out this... A lot of AT guns are scattered about. Yeah, 4 admins. Our team also has 4. Oh, we're about to lose a bunch of planes. Yeah, it's 3 Spitfires. Did we only lose 1? Oh yeah, RUSE has such better control. Bomber Balloon AKA, but I was like, nah, I'd rather spin on Persians and admins. As far as I'm concerned, we don't really need the AA. I mean, it'd be really helpful for pushing middle, but at this point, I was just focusing on defending and wearing down their units by picking off the AT guns and whatnot, just picking off whatever shit they had, since they have the advantage of mobility. And as you can see, we're 100 points ahead, so I was just focusing on the superior economy and picking off the other forces from my Persian stack. Now I get my first Greyhound. Speed this up a little. Making more buffers. We don't get any of those. Okay, we get one of those. So yeah, as you can see, I'm picking up a good amount of units. Oh, did I lose this Persian? Oh, okay, so I did lose a Persian to the AT gun, but it's kind of annoying. We have 8 admins, they have 9 admins. So again, while we're equal in economy, we're still getting our 4 depots, and they only have one of theirs getting, well, they only have 1 left. Like, they just don't really have, they don't have a counter to the Persians. And France is just really weak late game. Well, they're not really weak, but right now they're not really doing a whole lot. It'd be kind of awkward because you kind of need to switch roles, and Germany needs to start doing the AA and artillery and the field the support role, and France switches into super heavies late game. Because France can't do the support role. Not the traditional support role of AA, recon, and infantry. France fills in a very unique position early. They're like that weird push with AT and artillery. I go ahead and pick off this King Tiger. We have 12 admins, enemy has... Now they have 11 admins, so we're about 150 points ahead now. Here comes Typhoons, which funnily enough do not kill the Persians. Oh, okay, they kill one. Actually, never mind. Ignore what I just said. That was a Spitfire. I don't know if he killed any of the Typhoons. Was that a Typhoon? No, that was. I don't know if that was a Typhoon or Spitfire. So artillery gets strafed. Yeah, Violent Silver just isn't contributing any to the material on the field. He's just making admins, which is good, but like he's not fulfilling the role that they need to win, which is tanks. Another bit of a lull in combat. Since I don't have recon. Oh, I do have recon, never mind. The Typhoon did the panic, LMAO, and we killed the Typhoon. I mean, both Typhoons didn't kill, that's what I mean to say. Theoretically, they're supposed to kill level 4 armor, and they do sometimes, but sometimes they don't for some reason. Let's look at the admin count. So we have 18 admins versus their 14 admins. So at this point, we're starting to get a really solid economic advantage. Why that's we've just been playing more cost effectively. We have more points. The other reason is they need some way to counter these Persians, and they don't really have that. So they keep on making units. But well, they're spending more on units than I'm spending on Persians. Particularly, like as you can see, Quebec only has 2 admins, so and he's just spending lots of money on Typhoon since Silver isn't doing anything to stop the Persians, and AT guns are only so effective. Speed it up again. And do another little push. We kill a Typhoon full Greyhounds, that's a really good trade for us. Okay, now as you can see, we're just making a lot. We like our economic gain is becoming a lot more solid. We're just getting so much more money at this point. And at this point, their ability to win is really, really quickly diminishing. 4 minutes ago, it was probably like we were pretty equivalent economy and all that, even though we did have a superior position in terms of the material available to us and our map control. But now it's just really, really rapidly deteriorating because we're increasing our economic advantage that we just got. And now the other huge issue is that I am getting long toms. This is going to become very problematic since they're getting to camo all of these sectors to stop the long toms from shooting at their production. And even admins if the long toms get like right here. And we control the middle of the map, so I can definitely push the long toms that far forward. So they're going to be at a really big RUSE advantage. Or maybe not huge since it's only 2 players on our team. So they're getting 50% more ruses, but I'm going to be forcing all of them to camo. So that's long time. And when they make mistakes, like don't renew their camo on time and whatnot, or decide not to camo, I'll be killing their buildings and whatnot with the long toms. Plus, they can't. It will be really hard for them to spend money on the artillery. Well, neither UK and Horror can do it since they don't get heavy artillery. Only Silver does, and Silver definitely doesn't have artillery and micro, I'm assuming. Now pushing to space a little bit more. I'm not trying to be too aggressive since I still haven't got mobile AA, and I don't want to get like Typhoon to death. Long toms come into radio silence so they don't get spied and strafed, or so they don't get counter batteried by any potential artillery. Now here's a huge mistake. Horror is making all 44s, which are like this actual garbage. They're 45 supply and 27 speed. Like they're just so inferior to all the other. They're just so inferior to King Tigers and Super Persians. Like you get super heavies as France, not all 44s. And the French super heavy is 55, not even 60. Like you only pay like 45 to 50 is not that huge a jump compared for like instead like super heavies is so much better. Like they're so much more cost effective than RL44s. You do not build RL44s as France. In the past, I've talked about building RL44s before as France because the advanced heavy armor class of tank is just so important. So I've said I might as well build them before just because that class of unit is so important. But now I'm just like, if you can get super heavies, just get the super heavies. They're a lot better. RL44s are very situational. And in a late game situation, you do not build them. Now I actually thought look, it went from what 1 or 2 camos to 5 camos. Okay, only 4 camos. This area isn't camoed. Like these long comps are forcing out all these camos, which is really burning down the ruses. And we have a lot of admins, and they haven't been building as many since they're busy building units. Flora's building RL44s. Silva started rebuilding his King Tigers, and Quebec has mostly been building air. I've been telling Palmer just focus on fighters and admins. I don't need Typhoons or Fireflies or anything since clearly like we obviously already have the huge tank advantage. And as long as he has a lot more fighters, we don't really need to worry about bombers that much. That was my main concern at this point. Quebec going full bomber strike. Also radio silence. And I thought Horror might have made some of the French medium artillery, the GPF, so I actually retreated my long toms way back. Yeah, I see there's just 5 King Tigers chilling here, so I decided to come and kill them. Yeah, Quebec is building more airfields, which Quebec definitely already knew the game was lost by this point. So he was just doubling down on air, I guess, to try to do something. So they're not all 44s come in, but they're still goddamn slow. Tear is a complete waste of a ruse. Not get the Typhoon kill, unfortunately. But then I go ahead and re-engage here. I'm losing like 0 Persians here actually. They're just panicking and retreating. Okay, I think I'm gonna lose that one though. Yeah, I lose 1 Persian, but I'm killing so many King Tigers and all 44s. Yeah, we have a lot of admins. I start to move my long comms back up since I'm like, well, there doesn't seem to be any GPFs. Here comes the typhoons. And I've talked about this in the previous video titled I think my philosophy on air combat and RUSE or something, particularly on this map. Oh, we take that. There's no way that is a good trade. Yeah, we're losing a ton of planes in that. What the hell? Oh my god, this is a clusterfuck. Okay, maybe we did come out ahead due to just having so much more planes, but yeah, as you can see, we're just so many points ahead by this point. Anyway, so what role does air fill? Do they make fighter bombers or not in this matchup? Because the way I play most of the time, and the way that's just inherently superior, is this build Spitfires and admins than bombers when you need to. You do not really build. You just don't build fighter bombers a lot of time. Like you're building them because you have to, because you're losing. Like right now, like Quebec needs something to kill the Frisians, so he's having to build typhoons. So like a bunch of the time, you're already just losing the game. You're building fighter bombers. But the argument for fighter bombers is, I mean, it's basically how aggressive you are. But if both of you have a similar stack of, like, let's say each of you had like 15 Super Persians versus 12 King Tigers or something, and both teams have UK, like, if you have 6 Typhoons, like, even if the enemy has like a couple more admins, but you have like 8 Typhoons, and you just kill half the enemy stack right away with your strike, then your team can just push on with that battle and win the game. Like, kill the enemy blob and just push for your base. But the way I play, and the way I think is, well, it's not necessarily better, but it's a lot easier. Just go Spitfires and admins, or fighters and admins, depending on whoever you are. Let's play defensively. Get your economic advantage up. Like, that's what we did here. Like, he asked if he should build Typhoons. As I said earlier, I said no, just build admins and Spitfires. The biggest concern I have right now is a bomber strike from Quebec. Also, I finally get M19s out. This is another horrible decision. Or is making soft 40s for absolutely no discernible reason. If he was making RL 40s, the French heavy assault gun, well, he'll 2-shot Willies, and he'll like, I think like at least, I think like 5 or 6, maybe 7 heavy assault gun shots will panic level 1 armor. So if he just gets like 10 heavy assault guns, he'll 1-shot my Greyhound. And I don't have recon, so I don't know why I didn't get this RL 40s to heavy assault gun. Like, he should have went Proto, then the French Super Heavy, the FCM, and French assault guns. That's what he should have done. Instead, he built RL-44s and L-40s, and he's still building AT guns, which at this point have really outlived usefulness. But I do start making Calliopes to deal with the light unit spam. This put out a lot more artillery pressure near the front line on all the various light units. And closer protection, since I don't really use my long comms that much. Well, first of all, 3 isn't usually enough to one-shot medium resilience buildings at max range or near max range, unless it's like an airfield. And I just like to keep my artillery hidden. I don't really like to use it for counter battery against other heavy artillery or against critical targets. Okay, I'd rather to keep these alive so I can shoot at like an admin blob or an airfield or something. I'm just waiting for that moment when I get vision. I was also making secondary bases over here to start building more production and getting more pressure. Martian's getting bombers, which, yeah, I mean, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. We're just so far ahead at this point. We just get bombers and do a bomber strike and end the game. Horror's evacuating from his frontal base. We just have so much admins. We're almost 1,000 points ahead now. I do lose my long toms here to help work down that little blob. Kellius are also good against level 1 armor. You have a really weird bomber strike coming in. Doesn't really do a whole lot. I have long com shooting production over here. Yeah, I also decided to switch my focus back over to the left since I knew there was still AT in the forest, although I didn't know there was this little. It was gonna be too much of a pain in the ass to try to push for this town and all that. Over here it's just forest. Although Martin was getting kind of really impatient with me. He's like, I don't have any patience, push forward, push forward. I'm like, let's be slow and steady, no reason to be hasty here. I was just trying to make sure I wasn't gonna run in like 10 surprise AT or something that were gonna ambush me. Yeah, horror's like meme stack of units is coming back out. Honestly, Rangers wouldn't have been a terrible idea here. A really big air battle going on, there's no AA, and we just have so many more planes. I don't know. Typhoons coming in, but they're targeting AA. It's like, whatever, we're gonna kill all the Typhoons anyway. Or at least a lot of them, so we're coming out ahead on that trade. Making more Calliopes, let's go my long toms pushed up. Yeah, I have a bunch of production over here, and yeah, I'm just setting up more forward production. And I initially retreat from this since he has a lot of RL 40s, RL 44s. I'm letting my Super Persians get over here. Then we have this really weird engagement from Quebec. I'm not sure what the goal was there. I guess he was going after the long toms, but it got fucked up, so. Anyway, so all 44s are coming in a really staggered fashion, so I turned around and engaged. So I just ended up killing them. Plus we have Typhoon support too. Get a barrage off, but I don't kill any of the admins unfortunately. But I do have these infantry here to scout. So I end up using the infantry to spot for me. Quebec is just losing so many planes at this point to just the horde of A. Not really horde of A, but just a lot of A. More another barrage landing. Okay, that one they kill 3 admins. So yeah, for medium and heavy artillery, like 4 is the magic number to really do damage in one barrage. Quebec quits because he's losing. And a Raj comes in, and yeah, all these admins are just dying. Now I'm finally starting to kind of push through. So we have tons of air superiority, horror, surrenders. Yeah, so I did really good there. 5,000 kills, only 1,500 losses. Silver got 120 kills, 2,000 losses. Quebec went 1-1. Let me look. 2,700 losses with planes against. Yeah, that was. He only built planes, so yeah. That was good. Although he was losing a lot near the end. But that wasn't his fault. It's due to the deteriorating situation. Comes. Yeah, we had a lot more money. Okay, I didn't let me think for a second. How do I explain why this match went so bad for them? Okay, well, first off, they just have a straight up inferior team comp. Like US and UK is like super strong late game. And super Persians are like one of the best units in the game and the best of its class. And are capable of dealing with super heavies. Super heavies are still better than a straight up fight, I want to say. In the vacuum, super heavies are still better. But most situations, super Persians are going to be superior. Like very, very late game, super heavies are better. But then we have UK, which is the best there because Spitfire, best advanced fighter. Typhoon is very good. Lancasters are also good due to their speed. They're one of the faster bombers. Not that fast though. Then we have France, which gets really awkward late game, and you have to do this really, really weird transition into France doing like the armor roll, since they can't. France just doesn't have a late game that really functions in this. Like earlier, they do their weird France thingy, but then they have to do armor since they can't do anything else. Okay, it's fine. Germany is just an inferior USA. I've said this before. I'll say Germany is just an inferior USA. They have a worse barracks, worse recon since it's more expensive. KFC is kind of a unit that you can use as leverage in particular situations, mainly 1v1. Or other times, where its mobility is useful, but it's still expensive. And the barracks is obviously more expensive, which hurts the infantry, like a more expensive barracks, so it's just more annoying to build. King Tigers are inferior to Super Persians, so are Tigers. And they don't get artillery till prototype. I mean, they don't get mobile A till prototype base. Plus the flak 20 millimeters worse than the Bofors. And like artillery doesn't really matter a lot of the time, like except heavy artillery, which both nations have anyway. And the US heavy artillery is 50 supply, while the German heavy artillery is 60 supply. So in all the ways that are like actually relevant, the vast majority of the time, Germany is just downright inferior to US as far as ground goes. Even on the air, it's. Well, they both have their advantages and disadvantages in the air, but I can go into that in their video. So yeah, they have an inferior team comp. And so it basically started to go wrong since we were kind of equal in income for a long time, but basically Silver wasn't doing anything and he was dying. So I ended up killing some depots, I was killing units, so I was getting slight advantage. But the main issue is that forced Quebec to build a lot of Typhoons instead of potentially bombers for a bomber run on our admins. Or it stopped Quebec from building more admins since he was spending the money on Typhoons. Then France had to make a bunch of AT. And basically it started switching the late game, which, since again AT can't push, like I had the initiative, I could attack. So it was my decision on how long to stall the match, whether I wanted to attack or not, or just play defensively and stall out the match. So Silver just ended up making a bunch of admins since he was just not doing anything on the ground. So then France has to do ground thingies, and that's not good. Quebec also has to help with his typhoons. So yeah, and they end up with less income slowly due to them just taking slightly more losses and having to build more units instead of admins than our team. So then around when I got maybe 1 or 2 minutes before I got the prototype base, like we just got a couple more admins and it started to really escalate. And then I got the prototype base and got long toms, so they had to spend a ton of ruses on camo to stop the long toms. Then France started making all 44s and all 40s, which are garbage. So yeah, the late game just started collapsing. And again, like the AT and Typhoons, they were holding off the Persians for a good amount of time, but like it's not gonna work at the end of the day against a super Persian blow up with AA and artillery. So it's gonna die sooner or later. Really, the only chance I come back to that match was a bomber strike. It just didn't happen since Martin has kept on making so many Spitfires. And I told him to do that too. So we didn't really have to worry about that unless like we really messed up our micro or something. Or potentially France making like 200 paratroopers. That could potentially work too, honestly. Like 200 paratroopers, that's 2,000. Wait. Yeah, 200 paratroopers is 2,000 supply. Maybe not that many paratroopers, maybe like 100 paratroopers actually. That's more manageable. Then do 100 paratroopers plus all Quebec Spitfires and YOLO. Maybe that could work. As far as the round goes, like Super Persians are just too much better. Like there's too much better. Like if you tried making FCMs, as I said, like you still would have lost at the end of the day since we just have more money. Well, if he used his heavy assault guns to keep on focus fire my recon, it's like one shot my recon, and you could stall it out, it'd still be really difficult. Even if he does manage to like stop my super Persian somehow, the biggest issue is like the heavy artillery is going to end the game sooner or later. Either with our team doing recon spam and bombarding their admins by like throwing a horde of recon planes where the admins are, and it's me bombarding it. Plus, I have to make them spend so much money on ruses, and it's so much damage that the artillery is going to start to do throughout the match, especially as I get more heavy artillery. Yeah, that's all I have to say on this. That's the end of this video.